continues till you see things like version 1, version 2, version 3, till you get to a point where, it's end of life for the product or for the future, right? So that's project and product management in a very simple, basic format, right? You can take some time out to do more research, to know the languages, the nuances around each of those fields. They are very independent field. While product management speak to the product, the solution that you are building, project management speak to the project, the timeline it takes to build the product, right? So those are the sort of differences. The subject that we're interrogating today is headhunting from a PM's point of view. So from a project manager point of view, or from a product manager point of view, right? I will appeal to the organizers to sort of split this topic so that we're not confused. When you put PM there, are we talking about project management? Are we talking about product management? To make it simpler for your audience, right? I would speak to both today, but subsequent edition, let's make it simpler. All right, headhunting. What is headhunting? That's another keyword or a buzzword that we see being thrown around. What is headhunting? It's simply the process by which companies, recruiting firms, reach out to individuals to come take up opportunity within their firms. Right. You're not submitting your CV, but your work is so good that somebody reach out to you to say, come work for me. That's as simple as it gets. That's headhunting. And there are different strategy, different process of headhunting that HR and practitioner use to reach out to talent. The people that are often headhunted are talent, people that have distinguished themselves in their field. They have a lot of product expertise or work experience, right? And yeah, those are the type of people that, they're thought leaders, they're subject matter experts, right? And uh, people generally gravitate towards such people. Everybody wants to work with the best talent, right? So the best talents are headhunted, right? In especially in a competitive market or in a not so competitive market. So what you want to do is to make yourself globally attractive. Once you're globally attractive, then headhunting comes natural from a PM point of view. So whether you're a project manager or you're a product manager, um, organization will typically look for you. The market seems to be saturated at the moment, but the truth of the matter is that people are still being headhunted. Why? A lot of people are submitting their CVs. There's nothing wrong in submitting CV. Everybody should have a CV. Everybody should apply for a job. But in the process, there are people that are not even looking for a job that are getting offers. That's headhunting. They are not in the market looking for a job, but somebody's poaching them to say, I'm going to give you 2x what you're earning or 3x what you're earning. Come work for us. We have this new product we want to launch. We need your expertise. We need your talent on our team, right? That's headhunting. So what do you do to be headhunted? Right? Is typically the next question. As I've listened to everybody's profile, on your journey as tech enthusiasts, as junior developers, as senior developers, what can you do to be headhunted? One of the things you can do is to build a strong personal brand, right? Build a strong personal brand. And you say, how do I go about that? So identify which of the subject areas do you want to focus on? Are you a product manager? Are you a project manager? You stay there. Once you identify it, you stay with it, right? You develop knowledge based on it. You become a subject matter expert in that field, right? You develop yourself, you read, you join communities or project managers or product managers, you share resource, you join an open source project. Why are you joining an open source project? Because you want to contribute and you also want to learn in the process, right? So you put yourself out there, right? Put your thought out there. Have a blog, have a journal, have somewhere where you're just putting your thought out and let people query the thoughts. Let people ask questions, go back, refine the idea, put it out again. Keep putting out thought around the subject you have chosen. If it's project management, put yourself out there, learn the ropes, learn the everything that has to do with project management, learn the language, right? Get the certifications that do exist in that field, stay on top of the game. Now, networking is a key part of when you have a strong brand, when you are building your personal brand, networking is a key part. Attend industry events, conferences, meetups, right? Attend them. Don't just say I'm a project manager, yeah, I'm self-taught, I'm at home, I'm looking forward to give me a job. You have to go out there. You have to go out there. You have to attend events. There are a lot of free events on Eventbrite. There are also paid events, on Eventbrite and other event platforms. Do well to, attend at least one event in a week. That's 4 events in a month, right? To connect with people connect with like mind, connect with individuals that are above you, right? Reach out to them, ask them you want to be you want to be a mentee to them. Then also allow people below you who you know more than, mentor them, be a mentor to the younger ones also, so that you are that interception between very experienced people and not so experienced people. So staying in that middle, you are gleaning from the experience of your mentor, but you are also sharing to your mentee. So what happened is that you're at that position where your knowledge base begin to grow. You begin to understand better some of these ideas around product management and around project management. It's not only just to get this thought or idea, you have to implement them, right? You have to implement these ideas, right? You have to implement these ideas. You have to look for a project. We have the last by Bancom that allows you, build a project, become a product manager, become a project manager. You have to implement it, which is very critical, right? Which is very critical. You have to um, um, put action, to every article you read, every blog post you're going to put out, put action behind it. Now, we live in a time and age where things are changing rapidly, right? I guess I'm already answering some questions, right? Things are changing rapidly, so how do you build a personal brand that would command headhunters to reach out to you? You have to develop what they call in-demand skill sets, right? There are skill sets that are in demand at the moment, right? There's different shades of product management that is in demand. There's the API product management. So product manager, is started off as a singular discipline. Everybody's a product manager, whether you're building front end product or back end product. But over the time, it has morphed into different expressions. So we have product manager with the traditional product managers. Then we have product owners now. We do have API product managers. We have technical product manager. These are people that have technical skills. They have, they were first, maybe you were a developer before and you're thinking of product, then you migrate from being a developer to becoming a product manager. Because you have technical skills already, you can project manage or you can build product from a technical point of view, right? You can write technical doc, right? And do technical demos, for example. You have the language, you can build technical product because you have technical skills and you have been in that world before. Now there's AI product managers, right? There's a lot of AI balls out there. People are building AI on everything now. So they need product managers that can conceptualize the vision. Because as a product manager, one of the things you define is the product vision, right? And the what are we building? Why are we building it? The product vision, and when are we building it? These are the about 4 pillars. What are we building, right? When are we building it? Why are we building it, right? Why the technical product manager focus on how are we building it? They include that on their own pillars. How are we building this, right? The product owners also include how are we building it, right? Why the project manager just focus on the timeline it takes to build this? What resource do I need to build this, right? Those are the things that the project manager the project manager focuses on. Why the product managers focus on the vision. They give you a roadmap, right? This is our roadmap for the year. The project manager takes the roadmap and makes sure that the timelines on the roadmap are followed and products are delivered at those timelines on each and every of those timelines. So you have to sort of know the difference. Now, across those fields, there are in-demand skills that you need to develop. Right. There was a time as a project manager, you have to, become a certified Scrum Master, right? Because you have to add that these are skill sets that the industry is looking out for, right? It's not just okay to say I'm a project manager. You have to understand the Scrum ceremonies and how to govern the Scrum ceremonies. So you become a certified Scrum Master. I'll leave those details for you guys to explore and build your knowledge on those on things that you can do, how to build your resume, you know, with in-skill demand. But there are a lot of them out there. A simple Google search will let what is in demand at the moment. There's also the data product manager. There's a lot of data products at the moment. At the base of every AI product is data. So there's data product managers at the moment. They are focused on, data sets, right? They understand, R, Python, a bit to be able to define a product vision, right? As a product manager. So that exists. Those are skill sets that you need to invest your time in building. The job of both product manager and a project manager is largely communication. So you have to know how to communicate. You have to know how to communicate, how to, sell your vision, right? How to sell your timeline, your product roadmap, how to convince your customers, how to also listen to the pain points of your customers, right? Because you're not building product for yourself. You're building product for your market. You're building for your customer base, for your customer segmentation. So you have to know how to listen, and the act of listening in projects, in product management, is slightly different from just listening, barely listening. You have to know how to run survey, and you have to know how to listen to the data. What is the survey saying? Right. So those are skill sets that you must develop as a product manager and also as a project manager. Then you have to be active, you have to be visible. And that's where I would no, okay, one more. You have to be visible. You can't just say, oh, I am a product manager, the people will look for me when they need me. No, you have to be visible. That's when networking comes in. That's when you take speaking engagement. Nowadays there are a lot of podcasts around the subject matter product or project. You know, put yourself in those positions to share your knowledge. You have LinkedIn. I believe everybody has a LinkedIn page now. Or you can already start for a Medium page and put your thought out there. At first nobody will listen, then later everybody start listening, right? So it takes a while to get there though, but keep putting your thought out there. For every news that breaks out, think about it from a product perspective, think about it from a project perspective, and put your own thought out there, put your perspective out there. And very soon, what you are doing is that you are building a public artifact. And when someone is searching for maybe product managers in your city, your name will be on the first page of Google, right? And that's how headhunting happened. Like, oh, who's this gentleman? Oh, is this lady in this city that has such work around product management? And that's how they get your contact, or they leave you a DM and you start the conversation, then you've landed a job. Now, once you start the conversation, once you are visible, the next thing you have to build, or you have to be conscious of, is that you have to prepare for the opportunity, right? That you have to prepare for the opportunity. You have to put yourself out there. You have to know how to interview, right? You have to understand what the interview process look like. You have to understand keywords and things like that. And it's very important that you prepare for your interview sessions, because headhunting doesn't mean you're just going to resume at a job. It means you've taken care of a large part of the interview process, which we talk about submitting of CV, processing the CV to see if you qualify. They're just shortlisting you straight to talk to a hiring manager who, before may be impressed with the work you have done in the past, but you still have to convince them that you did those work, and you can do more if given the opportunity. That is what is important, right? So be prepared. Be prepared. I can't say that enough, because there are people that have received DM from headhunters. They've gotten calls from headhunter, but they were not prepared for the opportunity. They didn't know what to say. They didn't know how to present themselves, and that opportunity went by, right? So I'll go through the questions, but while if as I'm going through the question, you can um put your hand up if you have a question, and we can run through and we can take your question. I'm conscious of time, and if this has been helpful, please put a thumbs up. Let me know if I'm communicating or I need to go in a different direction to make sure I pass the message across. Has this been helpful, guys? All right, just one thumbs up. I was thinking I'll get more. Uh, Okay, fantastic. So, what are the key traits do you look out for when headhunting top talent for projects and products? You have to understand, you look out for people with knowledge base. Right. So as a project manager and or as a product manager, you have to build your knowledge. You look out for people with knowledge base. You look out for people that are visible. You look out for go-getters. So people that have done a lot of projects. That's what you look out for. So as a product manager, you have to be involved in building multiple products, right? And you build a portfolio of products that you've built and have that portfolio as part of your resume. All right. Because as a headhunter, I'm looking out for, how many products have you built? Have you built products in my space, right? Or in my field? So you try as much as possible to invest in building product. That's where open source project comes into play, where you can volunteer your weekend or 2 hours or 3 hours a week to get involved in building product. You don't have to know much about the industry, but when you start volunteering, you start learning and reading about those industry and you grow from there, right? There's nothing like, oh, this is not my field, I don't want to get it. No, just volunteer your time, an hour, 2 hours. There's no knowledge that will be thrown away or that will be wasted. So it's very important, right, that you build knowledge base and you also build experience by actually building product and joining teams to build a product, right? This question, how does your hiring priorities differ from those of HR and recruiters? I don't quite understand the shape of this question because HROs and recruiters are headhunters, right? They are headhunters. The people that headhunt people are HROs and they are recruiters, right? They're just cutting through the crowd, they're cutting through the noise of CVs, and they're just going for the individuals with the profile that they think matches the brand that they're trying to build. Right. So they are headhunters at the end of the day, or they are HR representative at the end of the day. What role does culture fit plays in the decision to pursue a candidate? Is very important. It's very important. Every industry or every organization have their own culture, and they tend to hire people that suit their culture. Now, when it comes to the idea of culture, one of the things that you have to develop is your soft skills. Now, you know the products, you know product management, you know project management, but you have to develop soft skills. Can you communicate? Right? Are you empathetic? Do you have empathy? Right? Soft skills, can you do budgeting? Right? If you're a project manager, right? Can you do budgeting? Are you able to lead a team? Are you a leader, for example? Those are soft skills that are not in the curriculum of project management or product management, but recruiters are listening for those. If you're a leader, if you listen, right? If you're attentive, those are the things. If you dot your I's and cross your teeth, if you pay attention to details, right? Those are the things, they are soft skills that headhunters listen for and in hiring a candidate. So when you come to culture fit, you have to be yourself and display those soft skills. And many a times, those soft skills are the things that will land you the role. Because if you get to an interview and you have two people to choose from, and two of them have decent experience, decent resume, decent profile, what edges one out is the soft skill that they are able to communicate or they are not able to communicate. So you have to pay attention to soft skill. right? Dressing properly, appearing sharp, speaking softly, those are soft skills, that recruiters listen for. So how do you prefer specialist or generalist when building your team, and why? I prefer specialists, right? I need people that know what they're doing, right? It's easier for me to give people round pegs in round holes and square peg in square holes, and it fits, than to get a round peg and try to put it in a square hole, right? So recruiters typically look for specialists, right? And specialists, you hardly find specialists, or you hardly find subject matter experts that are not specialists, right? You have to be a specialist in that subject matter, right, before you're called a subject matter expert. So specialist is what I look out for, right, because it's just easy to plug them and they will deliver the results. Generalist, you have to train them, you have to, kind of guide them and focus them on the part of the project you want them to work on. But specialist is they're good to go, right? Also depends on the knowledge and the industry, and also the product that I'm building. So how important is domain knowledge versus problem solving ability when selecting a candidate? Domain expertise, again, is critical, right? The fact that you have domain expertise, this is not versus actually. The fact that you have domain expertise does not mean you're not problem solving. So problem solving can be a soft skill. Domain expertise is a hard skill, right? As a product manager, you have domain expertise in data, right? You can visualize a data product, draw up a vision for a data product, design a data product, right? But you still have to have the soft skill to solve problem solving skills, because how to crystallize your vision into an actual product is problem solving. You have to be able to listen to the pain point of the user or the customer and be able to capture that pain point into a product vision. So it's two requirements that headhunters look out for. It's two requirements that are critical. It's not versus, right? Every product manager has to, move away from just being generalist to become, domain expert. Choose a domain. Is it AI? Is it data? Is it technical, like technical product manager? Is it banking, right? Is it API? Choose a domain and become a subject matter there, and you can grow from there. But as a project manager, however, problem solving skill is more critical for a project manager, because you can apply the same project management principle across domain, right? Across domain, you can, employ the same project management principle. There's the same principle that I use for banking, for project management, that you use in software as a product or software organization, and things like that. So it depend on where you sit. As a product manager, you need domain expertise. As project managers, you need problem solving skills or problem solving ability, right? And you should be able to communicate that. That's what's most important. Communicate that in your writings, communicate that in your CV, communicate that in your interview. They want to hear that. What red flag do you watch out for during interview and an assessment? Again, nonchalant, people being nonchalant, people behaving like they don't know why they are there, right? And look out for people that cram. They don't understand the concept. They just pour out what they have read on Google, right? Those are red flags. You should be able to listen to understand the pain that the recruiter is trying to solve and profile solution, right? Interviews are not where you go to define product management or to define Scrum. You don't put the definition. During interview, you apply the definitions, right? You apply it to the problem they're trying to solve. Now, how do you know the problem they are trying to solve? Usually the job description tells you the problem they are trying to solve. Now, so when you get into this interview and you're telling me the definition of Scrum, or you're telling me, oh, Agile is a platform that we use in tracking, like that is not what I want to hear. I want to hear, what are you coming to do? So the application, right, of the knowledge you have is what I want to hear, not the definitions of the knowledge you can that anybody can read up those definitions, but not everybody can apply it. So it's the application that I listen out for. Um, how do you assess candidates' ability to work under pressure or agile environment? Give them a task, all right? Simple tasks, presentation, turn it around in an hour or in 2 hours and present it. You find that a lot of people can work under pressure. It's very simple, right? Just give them a task. So most recruiters or recruitment process now has a point where you present, you go build a presentation and you present it to the stakeholders and they ask you questions and you're supposed to answer on the spot. So that's how you figure out who can survive under pressure or who just has it as something they downloaded from the internet and put on their CV. What's your approach to evaluating soft skill like communication and collaboration? Conversations, I'll read up everything you have online, but I also have conversations with you. The interview process is conversation, right? And you give a lot through those conversations, right? Can you share a time when you made an unconventional hire? Nope, I can share. What advice would you give a job seeker looking to stand out as a PM during headhunting? Right, I'll come back to the previous question. I've given a summary of what headhunting is. I've given a summary of what project and project manager is. And this applies to different fields. It's not just for project managers and product managers. Headhunting applies to different fields. If you're a software engineer, it applies to you. People are looking for developers that can build on specific domain, right? That have expertise on specific domain, right? People are looking for developers that have built, more that have contributed to more than 10 products. So they have wealth of experience. So if you're just coming up, put yourself out there, right? Build. Volunteer, join open source programs. I've said that before. Just keep building. Look out for knowledge, seek knowledge, be a volunteer, be a mentee to people that are further ahead. And also, if you can afford the time, be a mentor to the young guys coming down the line. So if you are in your fourth year, you can be a mentor to someone in their second year, someone in their third year, someone in their first year, right? If you're in your third year, you can be a mentor to someone in their second year or third year. So it's not be available to share the information you have. And the more you share, the more you become master of that information. It's just a life principle or a life hack. Right? Can you share a time when you made an unconventional hire hiring choice that paid off? Right. I typically, when you say unconventional, I struggle with the word because I go out for people that I have a role to recruit for. All right. I put the job description out there, but there are many times where somebody comes and show their skill sets, right, beyond the job description. The person is getting the job. And many times it has paid off, right? People that have gone beyond the job description to prepare for those sessions, right? It's crazy. It's as easy as that. And most of the time, I might have 5 or 6 more people or 10 more people to interview. And the first person comes in and they were so good. I'm like, "Oh, that's it. We're done. We're not doing second phase or third phase. This person goes straight to the final stage and person resumes just because they have the knowledge, they were able to communicate it, and they knew why they were there. So when you say unconventional, the convention is that you go from stage 1 to stage 2 to stage 3. There a couple of times I've done interview where you go from stage 1, and you're given offer in the next stage, and you don't have to go through the hoops. All right. So that yeah, that has happened a couple of times in my journey. So those that I would tell you guys to please invest in knowledge. I would say it over and over again. Whatever field they have decided to journey or travel in, right? Or you have chosen as your career path. Don't just say I'm an engineer or I'm a DevOps engineer. No. Invest. Make sure you know all there is to know. Sign up for newsletters, that gives updates on what's happening in your field, right? Sign up and start thinking of how to apply your field how to leverage AI in your field, because the world is going artificial intelligence. So don't be caught unawares. Start thinking of, where are the AI points in your field and start learning about them, building your knowledge base. What headhunters are looking for is people that can deliver on the job, right? And for you to deliver on the job, you have to have knowledge. Experiential knowledge is also very critical. You have to be built before, you have to have tested and tried the solution before. So guys, so that's my time. If you have any question, this is a fantastic time to drop it. I think I've run through the questions in the chat. If there are no more questions, if there are any question in the chat or outside of the chat, please do ask your questions now. I'm waiting. Have these been valuable at all to you guys? Because there should be questions. Have I answered everyone's question? Can I get a thumbs up? Okay. All right, I'll give you back your time. Thank you very much for having me today. It's been good presenting this and having this fire chats with you guys. Hopefully you've gotten more than one thing that you can apply going forward. And I'll see you guys some other time. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, thank you very much, sir. Kind of having a network difficulty from my end. Just to be sure, please, can anyone hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, I hear you.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much, sir, for sharing your insight with us. Well, if you have further questions, you can just follow Mr. Moody on Slack, or you can search for, you can look for him on LinkedIn and then type your question and tag him. I'm sure he's going to respond to your question. You can also tag Baba on Slack if you have any questions. He will be able to reach out to Mr. Moody if you have further questions. Okay. So thank you guys for joining. Hope to see you again. And enjoy the rest of your day. Happy weekend.